Good evening, you're watching India Today. I'm Preeti Chaudhary as we continue to await the detailed autopsy report of Sridevi, the death of whose is now shrouded in mystery. What we will do over the course of the next 1 hour is dissect, look at the flip side of fame, the price of perfection that most of our celebrities end up paying. We don't know whether it was a contributing factor to Sridevi, but with the instances that have come to light over the decades that we have seen, clearly the dark side of fame does exist. But first up, there has been a twist in Sridevi's death. Contrary to earlier reports, Sridevi did not die of a cardiac arrest, instant cardiac arrest, but of accidental drowning. As we await the detailed autopsy report to get more clarity, we do not wish to speculate. However, there is one aspect to the tragedy that has laid bare the naked truth of stardom. Whether the pressures of keeping up with superstardom, of being Sridevi, contributed as a factor to her untimely demise, we never know that. But what we do know is that there have been many instances to suggest the harsh ramifications of being in the limelight.
Perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect body, perfect poise, the perfect superstar. And then the price of that perfection, the pressures of being a superstar. Sridevi was a superstar, iconic, untouchable, enigmatic, aspirational.
Being positive and being happy, it really matters a lot. And of course the diet also, and eat proper and drink a lot of water, and don't even touch a fried food.
With each success, each campaign, each carefully crafted look raising the bar. From not just being a superstar, but also looking like a superstar always. Not a hair out of place, not an inch of extra fat. The right angles to a face, stardom does extract a heavy price. Physically, many actors have openly lamented the pressure to be thin, healthy or otherwise. Kareena Kapoor in Tashin admittedly dropped to a dangerous size 0. Sonakshi Sinha, Vidya Balan, Uma Qureshi, Richa Chadda to even Sridevi herself have spoken about body image and the spotlight. The quest for the perfect face has led many to go under the knife. Some admittedly, like Shilpa Shetty admitting to a nose job, to Anushka Sharma talking about a lip enhancer, to others, which the media continues to speculate about. Sridevi herself has gone through a massive transformation over decades. The fear of aging, the fear of losing the fan base, the fear of not being a superstar drives one further.
One of the most, perhaps, the unfortunate things of being a star is that you start believing you are immortal. I think this is like a defense mechanism that comes into celebrities' life. Yaar, hame kuch nahi hoga. So I think it keeps you alive, it keeps you going, and nothing. The only quest that human beings have is the quest for permanence, and it's never going to be permanent.
The stress of physically being your best version to the mental agony of being on top and staying on top. Deepika Padukone, Ileana D'Cruz have openly talked about depression. Anushka Sharma has spoken about suffering from anxiety, not necessarily related to being a star, but psychologists have often made the connect. The words fame and stress are two sides to the same coin. Many have tried to fight the pressure, but at times, stardom can be predatory, slowly consuming the star, pushing them to go to dangerous limits, till the limelight literally kills them. Entertainment Bureau, India Today.
Fame, stress and stardom, does it all contribute to be the perfect storm, and what could be the ramifications of that? We've got Deepak Raheja, he's a psychiatrist, he's joining me from Mumbai. We have a brand consultant, Harish Bijur. What does it take to actually make a brand, to put up a face every time, every day, every time you step out, to be the superstar, to look like one? He's going to talk a bit about that. We have Madhu Kishwar, the flip side of that, on how most of our celebrities, including Sridevi at the age of 54, had to uphold these unrealistic beauty standards. I have Bandeep Singh. He's our photo editor at the India Today group. He's going to give us an insight on, he's worked with many celebrities. He's going to talk to us, give us details on what exactly goes on in the mind of a celebrity, especially when captured. We have Ira Trivedi, she's a lifestyle guru. We have Anupama Verma, she's been an actor herself. Before everything, I want to go across to Deepak Raheja, the psychiatrist who's joining me from Mumbai. Mr. Raheja, when you have that much fame going around you, when you've reached these stupendous levels of stardom, and more so you have to keep that stardom, what actually could go on in a mind of, say, a superstar or a celebrity?
It is like virtually walking on eggshells all the time, 24/7. The pressures of being able to be the diva, of being able to carry the personified image, of being perfect in all aspects, and not just perfect, but perfect all the time, can be not just extremely demanding, but extremely draining. And like a little while back, what Mr. Shah Rukh Khan was saying, there is a sense that prevails that possibly this is going to last forever, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to last forever because I am immortal and this must go on. So this is highly dissonance producing from reality, because each day, like normal people, you are tempted to eat, you are tempted to sleep a little bit more, you are tempted to not go to gym and exercise, and you more or less see your body changing a little bit with age, and you want to fight that. You want to right. be able to do whatever it takes to be able to beat that. And I think that can be extremely painful and dissonance producing, and the actor or the celebrity is under pressure in trying to maintain and live up to that image all the time.
Harish Bajur, not a hair out of place, every nail perfectly painted, every time putting up a face when you step out, has ramifications physically and mentally as well. All right, we don't have Harish Bajur, we're going to try and get to him, but let me cut across to the studio. We have Bandeep with us. Bandeep, you've worked with how many celebrities? What goes on in a mind of a celebrity when you're actually capturing them, editing their pictures? What is the most important to them?
You know, Preeti, what happens is that you know, the problem of this entire stress thing, you know, which we are talking about, stems from the fact that the ideal that you compare yourself against. And that ideal, unfortunately, has become the anorexic model on the ramp. And when I deal with celebrities, and I deal with a lot of them, politicians, models to film actors, you know, the constant thing that I hear and the request that I get while I'm shooting them, almost like an arrangement that I have to sign, that please make us look thin. You know, this is, the request is not about catching the right expressions, getting the right face, the right angle of the face, but the only one thing that make me look thin. You know, as if that extra fold in the flesh is the only biggest imperfection that there is to hide. And you know, when you're doing it over time, when you photograph celebrities over time and you see this constantly coming at you, you also realize there are so many other things. You know, there are so many other things of aging.
Right.
You know, so many other things that are departure from that size 0 model. You know, even a size 1 then becomes an imperfection. So there are dark circles, there are, you know, wrong makeup, bad hair, right. You know, not wearing the right kind of dress. All these contribute a lot to the stress because you have to manage that. You know,
right.
And what happens over here is that, you know, in a still image, you can manage it. You know, when, you know, even in your mobile phone, when you take a selfie, there are apps that give you that perfect glowing
right.
skin and, you know, convert your
right.
imperfections, wash them away. But in reality, it doesn't happen. In reality TV, it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, when you are captured in reality, you go with all your imperfections. And to manage that, in fact, when you are in a party, by the time you are not even out of that party, there's a whole discussion happening about your dress and about
how you look. You have to keep up that image
in the social media.
Right, in the social media, and you know, and every time you step up, Anupama, you have to keep up to a set standard. The kind of you know, stress that puts possibly a star under is unprecedented.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I would like to pay my respects, my condolences and prayers to Srideviji's family. And it's come the saddest news, I should say. And honestly, I've still not been able to come to terms with it, because she was somebody which every woman looked up at her as an icon.
Right.
So what has happened indeed is really sad, and what really happened in this issue as to what happened with her, I think that is a private matter which we should leave in the privacy of the family, and we should respect that part, that something very, very sad has happened within them, and they have lost somebody very dear. But yes, if you're asking me in general as to what the pressures of the industry are, I definitely will say that the pressures are enormous. I mean, how strong you are, how much you can resist and not succumb. I mean, it is from being a need to look good because of the pressure to a desire to look good sometimes becomes so overwhelming that, you know, it can just, you know, you're always out to please. You always want to be appreciated. And as far as the public is concerned, as lovingly as they welcome you, it takes them like one wrong look.
One bad appearance.
Discard you.
One bad appearance and you're done.
You can, I mean, I would say like you can come with 20 hours sleepless.
Right.
Yes, and 20 hours of probably hard work, but and you come back again, but you're expected to look like you had 20 hours of sound sleep, which is not always possible.
Right, Madhu Kishwar, I'd like to bring you in here.
And the higher you go, the pressure builds up, and
the higher you go, the pressure builds up, and then, of course, to keep what you've already achieved, you have to work that extra hard. You know, Anupama, I want to bring in Madhu Kishwar, because what you said right in the beginning, you know, Madhu, if you heard Anupama, you know, what she had said right in the beginning was that we've all looked up to her because there's been something very ethereal, enigmatic about her. But we've never quite seen what has gone down behind. And today, you know, as we pay respect to her, as we commemorate her memory, it's also needed to actually, nobody's saying it contributed as a factor to her. We would never quite know that. But one needs to touch on, you know, these unexpected, unrealistic standards of beauty that possibly our superstars need to live up to.
I absolutely agree with you. It's a terrible loss of a very precious life and an outstanding actor who achieved historic stardom for a woman character, for a woman star of her times. But I think when we talk about looking up to such glamour symbols, firstly, it's a real tragedy that more than your acting skills, your glamorous persona has come to matter much more. And it's not just in the Bollywood, not just in Bollywood, where a heroine has to be glamorous, pretty to the perfection, and heroes have to be like stud bulls and all those ab packs and whatever else they expected to have. Earlier, it was only on women, this pressure. Now you can see that even male actors are collapsing under the weight of the pressure to keep their bodies in perfect form and fit, and no matter what their age. Now, to me, this looking up to stars, you know, is proving very disastrous even for ordinary women. You see anorexia spreading to schoolgirls, kinds of beauty treatments, you know, facelifts, bosom uplifts, and liposuction, and God knows the kind of invasive surgeries that have come. An average beauty parlor has actually become a health menace for women all over the world, but particularly in India, because no safety standards are being observed. You know, all kinds of odd things are being done to your hair, to your skin, and to your entire body. Nothing is ever good enough. And this notion that you have to be like an apsara, and not just apsara, the most perfect from head to toe, is killing the souls of young women in India. And which is why, well, I'm saying, just one more minute, you know, way back in 1971, as Miranda House president, I led a very successful campaign to abolish the Miss Miranda beauty contest, because I said an educational institution ought not to be honoring the beauty and the cutie and how bodily glamorous you are as the highest form of celebration of a woman student. It should go to an all-round student. Nobody knows who tops the university in physics. Nobody knows who tops the university in mathematics.
So these
or
beauty
in
standards
music,
you suggest.
but everybody used to know who Miss Miranda is. And I'm saying these symbols are disastrous for the psychological, emotional and physical well-being of women.
All right, Ira Trivedi, do you reckon somewhere down the line, like we said, we're not speculating this at all. Was the stress of always being perfect, because even like what Anupama said, the kind of reactions we're getting, and she was ethereal, enigmatic, all of that, we don't know if it contributed to Sridevi's untimely demise. But the kind of stress that it actually precipitates in an individual who can never do anything wrong, and not just do, who can't look anything wrong, because every time you have to step out, everybody needs to step back and say, wow.
Absolutely.
You know, I just want to say that this has happened for time immemorial with celebrities, not just in India, but abroad. We look at deaths like Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse, Whitney Houston, there's so many, Heath Ledger, there's so many examples of names, and these are just the super celebrities. How many more struggling artists there are, how many more sort of BC level celebrities there are, we'll never know. You know, so I was actually surprised to hear that Sridevi had passed away of a cardiac arrest, because just by her physique, by just, you know, her day-to-day life, all of her recent pictures, she looked like she was in no bad health at all. So that was shocking news, that this has happened to her, that she drowned in a bathtub, that there were traces of alcohol in her blood. I find this believable, just because it has happened so many more times in the world of film and cinema, especially in today's day and age with social media. While it has connected all of us, it's also made things so viral. You know, one picture is seen by millions of people in a fraction of a second. One look and someone snaps you outside the airport and it's sent out into the world. So celebrities always have to be on their guard now. And the kind of trolling that happens, the kind of, you know, intrusion that happens into people's lives, it's really, really terrible. So again, what we have seen with Sridevi should just be a reminder for all of us. You know, a reminder for us that that it's not worth, you know, nothing is worth killing yourself on. You know, the stress of the outside world is big for everyone. We see young people today, and they're so concerned about the way they look. 17, 18-year-old girls, they're continually taking selfies.
You know, Ira, we don't want to speculate on that. Whether it contributed as a factor to her death, we'd never quite know that. But yes, one could learn lessons from this, and it's important to talk about it, because there are unrealistic standards of beauty that our superstars, our actresses need to live up to.
We know nothing about it. But
you know, I would like to say something.
Yes, Anupama, come in. Yeah.
I would want to say something here. I don't know if I'm audible. Yeah, what I want to say is that, you know, the bottom line is that if you do anything unnatural to your body, which gives you unnatural results, will also give you unnatural side effects. So this is a personal opinion where I feel like I don't believe even in taking gym supplements or anything of that, because they're going to give you quick results, but also quick damage. But having said that, I don't think it's right to, like, we cannot equate this what happened now with an Elvis or an MJ or an Amy Winehouse, because they were pop artists. Their level of you know, getting that high or whatever is something else. I mean, I don't think beauty has, I mean, in defense for my industry, I would want to say, I mean, in terms of wanting to always look beautiful, is completely different from the pop star's level of energy to perform for 20 hours singing and, you know, using substance. That doesn't happen here. Here it may be that the pressure that you always have to be a 10 on 10, which is humanly not possible.
And the stress, you know, of what it would do to you over a period of time.
The public is going to sit and judge you.
Because one thing that has been established, Bandeep, is like, even if it's a cardiac arrest or if it, you know, whatever it is, that it's over a period of time, that kind of stress is unlivable, that you have to constantly live under the spotlight.
Yes, you know, if I were to imagine myself in her place or anybody in her place, I think the stress level would be very, very high. You know, Madhuji just mentioned about beauty contests. In a person, for somebody like Sridevi, the beauty contest just doesn't end. It's constantly on.
And transformed to her daughters.
Yes, and you imagine this, you know, she's not just competing against the ideal that she herself set. You know, look at her past. She has been, you know, from a actor of very high quality.
Right.
She's also been a sex bomb. She has also been the darling of so many women that I've grown up with. You know, the Chandani of their dreams, the you know, the actor, the characters she played in Lamhe, in Chalbaz. She has been all that. She's also competing against that. Not just the next line of
She's competing
stars.
herself what she looked like 30 years ago.
And when people look at you, when you are making a comeback after motherhood, when you are making a comeback in your 40s, in your 50s, people are not going to look at you and say, this is the Chandani or the actor who was at one time very big. People will compare you with the next person who's standing next to you, the next actor who's there wearing the trendiest clothes and in the perfect shape. So the stress level, you're competing against that, you know, that ideal.
One of the most, perhaps, the unfortunate things of being a star is that you start believing you're immortal, you're untouchable. It's a strange, when so many people love you, when so many screams happen, when people listen to the most banal of your conversations, you start believing somewhere कि यार मैं बहुत special, मुझे कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
Deepak Raheja, you're a psychiatrist, somebody who has actually dealt into the psyche, especially where superstars are concerned. What is it that actually goes behind, you know, the flashlights, the bulbs? What's going on there?
What really goes behind in the mind is a person who's day by day, every moment trying to live up to the pressures of being Mr. or Miss Perfect. And that's not human, you know. And I wonder if they have many choices, but like we were talking, if we keep doing unnatural things to our body and mind, the results are going to be devastating, you know, and it sometimes shows up in consequences like what we are seeing. So, you know, here is a person who's in pain, who's sleep deprived, who's not eaten because, you know, the calories need to be checked, and this person has to look perfect and he has to be smiling and to carry that picture perfect image. It's extremely traumatizing for somebody. I mean, these are normal people, normal human beings who also have psychological morbidities, who go through the ups and downs, who have depressions, who have anxieties, who have sadness, the normal ones. I'm not talking about pathological here.
And physically keep pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself to perfection, to the best version of yourself.
And
how does that, you know, I'm just coming in, Deepak, because, you know, how does that impact you? We're going to continue to discuss that after the flip side of fame. That's what we are discussing in this special broadcast as we await the autopsy report, the detailed autopsy report of Sridevi. Till now, there is a fair bit of confusion on what killed the actress. Was it death due to drowning or was it brought on after a cardiac arrest? Well, we don't want to speculate, but what needs to be put a spotlight on is the limelight killing for some superstars. We have Deepak Raheja, psychiatrist. He's joining me from Mumbai. I have Madhu Kishwar, editor and activist. I have Bandeep, photo editor, ITG. In the studio, we have Ira Trivedi, Anupama Verma, actor from Mumbai. I want to come to you, Madhu, first, and as I'll ask our producers to actually pull out the images of the physical evolution of Sridevi right from the 80s when she entered Bollywood, and how systematically she changed herself or had to change herself to be relevant. Madhu?
See, it's not just Sridevi. If you notice, the actresses... hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm saying that... Can you hear me? Okay. See, it's not just Sridevi. If you look at the actresses of 1950s, 60s, 70s, and even up to 80s, they did age more gracefully. They didn't mind getting fat, and the Indian audiences loved Meena Kumari or Amala Sinha or Nargis, even when they put on a few pounds and didn't look picture perfect. It's the influence of Hollywood model of beauty and the Paris ramp model of beauty that has actually introduced these very sickly role models for us. Our role model, in fact, it used to be, I remember when I was young, If a woman didn't put on weight after marriage, people would say, oh my God, is she happy? Is she still so thin? How come she's not, her body has not filled up? These natural body changes was something that people accepted gracefully, not only in themselves, but also in our heroines, including the most famous, the most celebrated ones. It's only in the last 15, 20 years that we have become size 0 obsessed. And this, to my mind, more than, you see, at least the actresses and the actors, they are rich enough to afford to do all these experiments under medical care, go to the best of physicians if they have health problems. For the ordinary middle or middle class woman, it is fatal what they are doing to them, because they're doing it by reading magazines, they are picking up tips from the internet and starving themselves to death and taking on all these kinds of weird treatments without proper medical supervision.
So the kind of body imaging that they're inspiring in others is dangerous.
As role models.
Anupama Verma, you know...
yes, even anchors, TV anchors are expected...
Right, to live up to a certain standard. All right, Anupama Verma, you know, I'll ask my...
I expect it to be glamour dolls very often.
All right, let me bring in Anupama Verma back into this debate. Anupama, you know, you've had... Madhu was saying that it's recent, it's the last 15, 20 years that it's all started. But let's just look back, you know, there have been so many, even Sridevi herself, it was speculated whether or not she went through plastic surgery with her nose. Of course, she's always denied it. But there have been actresses who've outrightly said that, yes, that we had that kind of pressure. You've had the likes of Shilpa Shetty. We'll just ask our producers to pull out that quote. You have the likes of Anushka Sharma, who've gone higher and said. You had the likes of Sonam Kapoor, who said that she constantly is pressurized to be, you know, a particular size when she's acting. You had Vidya Balan, you had Sonakshi Sinha.
See, what I'd like to say here is, I mean, those are their personal preferences, and it wouldn't be right on me or any of us to comment on what they would want to do. What I can say here is that, yes, am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, you are.
Sorry. Yeah, so what I was saying is that it would be wrong to comment on, like I said, their personal preferences, what each one wants to do. But yes, the change has come in the last 10 years, because I remember me being in the fashion fraternity, and 10 years ago, when I would go on meetings for film, they would tell me that, don't you eat, khate wate nahi ho, ghee vi khaya karo. So the call that time was that they wanted girls who are hefty, and I didn't fit the bill. They would say that you're ahead of your times. But as years went by, the trend went that every actress wanted to have the figure of a model. So and suddenly there was so much access to so much of makeup, salons, all these treatments. So that's, I mean, the different kind of requirements and pressure has always been there. Earlier, I would say, like the 40s, 50s, what you spoke about, they didn't have access to all that. There wasn't even color television or color cinema. So they had to make do with what they have. Having said that, saying that, you know, that they all put on weight gracefully, I'm very happy to say that we are in an era where we all work out and we believe in fitness. Even our mothers exercise, which is a great thing. That's better for the longevity of life, it's better for your health. But yes, the pressure which comes in with the profession is increased to another level. I mean, now there's a girl who's 13 and she knows, I hit 17 and this is where I want to be. So the 13s are going there, the 17s are going there, the 25, 35, 45. Everyone is competing in that same race in a way.
Because there is this certain beauty standard that you need to live up to. Now, that standard might possibly be different 10 years ago. It was voluptuous and maybe it's size 0 right now. But there has always been a beauty standard that one needed to conform to. And even now, if you look at it, when we're talking about Sridevi, even the kind of scrutiny her daughters are put under. You know, just about a month ago, there was speculation whether her daughter themselves have gone through plastic surgery or not.
Okay, I just want to say one thing here, Preeti, that you know, we can't hypothesize anything about what caused Sridevi's death. Maybe it was just very, very natural. You know, I don't want to, it's not the right time unless we get concrete evidence about what happened. Yes, there was a drowning in a bathtub. So you know, it's not good to say, hey, something untoward happened because of this. I just want to make that point clear, because that's not fair on her nor her family. But this is a good opportunity to talk about beauty standards and body image, because that topic in itself is becoming more and more relevant. So I just want to clarify that point, and I'm sure everyone on the panel believes in this, that we're not trying to hypothesize any cause of any death, and it could have purely been natural. It's not our right to do that. Talking about beauty standards, yes, beauty standards have become more important than any time else because of social media. You know, one tweet, one picture, you walk out somewhere, you take one picture. You know, the disease now called selfitis, because some people take so many selfies during a day. In just about 100 years ago, not even 100 years ago, just about 50 years ago, you know, people didn't even have mirrors in their house. That was a luxury, to even look at yourself. Up till even 5 to 7 years ago, a photograph was something that was really a precious memory. It's not like today where you take at least on average 3 to 4 photographs a day, and this is for the common person. So yes, just the world of social media has changed the beauty standard completely. And I don't want to bring in Sridevi or her daughters into this. That's completely unfair. But I do think that, you know, talking about beauty standards, this is a ripe opportunity to do that, and especially on the kinds of pressures that celebrities definitely, but even normal women, even women like you and I, are facing on a daily basis to look better and better and better. And I actually really feel for the teenagers today, because they're growing up with social media. You know, they're growing up on Instagram, where they have to look at themselves all the time. Not even Twitter, because Twitter is not visual enough. So I do think that you know, in our time, it's good to take this opportunity to look at body image, to look at how stress is not good for our health, to look at work-life balance. I think this is what this is a positive conversation to be having right now.
Bandeep, you want to come in on this, because you've seen it change over the years as well.
Yes, you know, there are standards all the time. You know, the one thing that is constant is change, and that applies to beauty standards as well.
Right.
You know, the conventional idea of the Indian beauty has always been a voluptuous woman. And you know, the references, the classical references that you have in our temple sculptures, in the Didarganj Yakshi, is of a woman with a very full body, you know. And those were the standards that were in play when Sridevi was at her prime. You know, if you see the films of that time, you know, Himmatwala, Justice Chaudhary, you know, where you have her dancing with the pots, you know, her body is very full. In fact, when you played the transformation of Sridevi, and when you see the transformation, when you compare the images of her prime to the images of today, the prime images make her look cute as per the present standards, cute and chubby. You know, the sharp cut of the face is not there, which is now visible in her face, which is so unnatural. And whenever there's something unnatural, there will be stress. And it is very important that in this light, we do talk about what are the standards of beauty, rather than looking for standards of beauty that are imposed from the outside, from the external, from the images of ramps outside, from fashion magazines outside. It's very important to find our balance of what beauty is.
But we've never been able to find that, Madhu, have we? Because even now, while we are possibly debating this, there'll be many who think you're disrespecting Sridevi's memory, which we are not.
I don't think we are focusing on Sridevi. What we are focusing on is beauty standards, very unrealistic beauty standards, which may have played a role in Sridevi's life, or maybe not. We don't even know for sure whether her death has anything at all to do with those. But it certainly is a killer, not just for other glamour symbols of Bollywood, also Hollywood, increasingly for ordinary women as well. And I don't think it's just social media, it's acceptance of a certain beauty standard by those who create the mapdand, you know, through beauty contests and fashion parades. If they were not presenting and projecting systematically this kind of beauty standard, whereby a fashion model has to be a starved, you know, something like plywood board, not a real woman, and a clothes horse where you can just put hang any clothes on her clothes hanger. Now this model is being systematically encouraged by the fashion industry, by the glamour industry, by the makeup industry. And I'm saying it's that. Otherwise, people aren't so crazy as to start starving themselves unless some powerful people are injecting
Madhu, I need to come in here. I'm afraid I need to just, I just need to come in. And the reason I'm doing so, I thank my panel at that. But I want to cut across to our managing editor because Rahul Kanwal has with him Rishi Kapoor, the man who romanced Chandni. It's over to Rahul.
At a time when the entire nation is struggling to come to terms, with the tragic death of superstar Sridevi, we are joined now by legendary actor Rishi Kapoor, who romanced Sridevi on the screen, and he's joining us now. Sir, this is obviously a very, very difficult moment for you and for the entire Bollywood family. Could you begin by telling our viewers about your first meeting, your first association with a woman who ruled the silver screen for so long?
Well, it's not a very good time for me to speak, but as you said, something has to be said about some very good artists who I got a chance to work with. As a matter of fact, I feel there are several actors who have worked with her more and probably made even more successful films than me with her. But I do believe that I have two iconic films of ours together, namely Nagina and Chandni. And both these films were at two different times of her career. Nagina was when, what should I say, she was a budding star. She was galloping. She had a lot of South films she was working for. She was working with a little, elderly heroes like Jeetu Ji and Kaka Ji and others. And I don't think at that point of time she had worked with anybody else. And of course, came a time when Harmesh Malhotra wanted to cast me in his film. There was another heroine who was being cast in that film, and then he thought of Sridevi, and he went to speak to Sridevi. She was running high temperature that evening. But she told her, Harmesh, you come and narrate me the script. And she heard the script and said, yes, I'll do the film. And they talked about money, they talked about dates, and everything was bingo, and that's how she did it. And the first time that I met her was, when was this? She was doing a sequence with Amrish Puri Sahab at the RK Studios, where she comes to meet him in the tent, and she threatens him that don't you dare, put in your evil eye on my husband, otherwise I will get at you. And that was the first time I actually met with her. And that was, I think, way back in 84, 85, I can't remember when. It released in 86, I'm told, but it may have been sometime then. So it goes back a pretty long time back.
I was reading your autobiography, Kullam Kulla,
I will tell you
where you talk about the differences between the Sridevi you encountered at the time of Nagina, who comes to you saying that there's a film of yours which she's seen 3 or 4 times. Khel Khel Mein, she says, sir, I've seen your film Khel Khel Mein.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you. Let me tell you about it. Yeah. Yes. I thought, the girl was a very quiet girl. She never spoke much, and she being new and she being from South, and she was a star. She was not a big star, but she was a star, all right. So there was this time when, we were enacting a love sequence, and the lights were on, and the shot was going on, and suddenly the assistant cameraman said, cut, and the director asked, why? He said, we've run out of film, magazine change. Now, magazine is what? It's a kind of a container which has film in it, and that film is threaded into the camera. So this exercise takes about 2 or 3 minutes to, do. So they actually never put off the lights, and everybody's there where they are. I was in close proximity with Sridevi, so was she, and the lights were on, and there was this awkward silence where one doesn't know what actually to say and what. And suddenly she said, sir, I have seen your Khel Khel Mein 4 times. I said, oh, really? I was really quite flustered. What do you reply to that? And I said, Sridevi, you dance very well. I've seen you dance very well. And that she said, thank you, sir, thank you very much. And then she said, the shot is ready. So, thank God we didn't have to make any more conversation. That was just about the only conversation I probably have had with Sridevi during Nagina.
So from Nagina to Chandni,
she made an iconic snake woman that she became a huge star after Nagina and Mr. India. Those two films actually brought her right there. She was in the reckoning of being the biggest star at that point of time. And then she was all there, and Yashji wanted to make this film called Chandni. And the only thing Yashji had in his mind was, which he used to tell Rekha earlier, that I have this woman in white, and she's Chandni. Then, of course, the script was written with Sridevi in mind, and things followed as such. Of course, by then her confidence level was very high. She spoke a little more. We conversed a little more because there was one conversationalist like Yash Chopra who also spoke a lot, and we improvised a lot whilst working. We talked to each other what we felt with Yashji, and Yashji would give us a free hand to do what we wanted to do. I might just about add that during Chandni, there's a sequence, I can't remember if it's there in the...
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.